Of the Beaver's Big Journey, and I am videoing for our 21-day raw fruits and vegetable journey. My family is not all participating, so I'm cooking cooked things for them and raw things for me. So if you see this is our eggplant pizza. The video for that is already on the Beaver's Big Journey's YouTube channel. You're welcome to go there and get that recipe, but right now I'm going to show you guys how to make a beautiful purple salad. And the reason I'm calling it the purple salad is because all the ingredients are purple or red. Let me turn the camera a little bit so you guys can see a little bit better. Okay, there you go. So here we go. I basically have already taken a purple cabbage and I've cut it up. This is what I do when I'm going to saute it and make it work. Bell peppers and onions and garlic and eat it cooked. This is for my family that's not eating raw. And this is for me. This is for the raw version of it. I actually have taken it and cut it up really small. I'm going to show you the tool that I use for that. It's one of the tools we used to use. We used to love it. We used to always use it, and now Gil just found another one. And so I'm going to show you that tool, how you get this really small like this without it being a lot of work. And then I already have a red bell pepper. I'm going to cut that up and put that in my salad. I'm going to use half for me and half for them because I'm going to saute them like bell peppers, onions, and cabbage for their vegetable for tonight. And I have this beautiful purple onion. I am going to wear gloves because the dye from beets is really intense. So I'm going to actually cover my fingers up because I don't want to have purple fingers. Kind of reminds me when I used to do hair, you have to wear gloves to use color. So even with natural colors, you have to make sure you wear gloves. So this is the beet. I'm going to use our wonderful spiralizer. Hopefully I'll have a better success with it today than I did the other day. You want to make sure you push it in and then you spiralize it. Spin. Having some issues. Ugh. Let me see. Maybe it's having a little difficulty because of the way I have it. I'm going to turn it the opposite direction because sometimes if you have the smaller end, it works better. See, there you go. Spiralize. You want to make sure you have the big end at the closest to the back and the smaller end closest to the front. And then you spin it around, and this is what you get. You get this beautiful spiralized beet. And it's really pretty. And it, of course, it doesn't make it taste any different, but it really makes it, you know, it's a lot thinner. So I break this up. I make it a little bit smaller so it's not big, long chunks. One of the things I also realized today is that if you, this is raw, live turmeric. And I didn't realize that. I actually just ate some of it raw and it tastes really good. I think that when they make it into a spice, it becomes a little bit more intense. So the natural root of the turmeric, unlike other roots, normally like ginger is even more intense when you eat it raw. With this, it's really mild, and so it's easy to eat on its own, just raw. So I'm going to cut some turmeric up into our salad. So we're going to have turmeric, or turmeric, or however you pronounce it, you prefer to pronounce it. I already have the beets in there. I showed you the beets. Beets are great for blood pressure and for your insulin. It's good for your lymphatic system. It's good for just like number of different things, but beets are really good for you. And I love the way they taste raw. Most people who have had beets have had them pickled, and I know me personally, I don't like pickled beets, but raw beets taste totally different. They taste really good. So I'm going to just cut up the end of that. When you're done, after you use your spiralizer, all of your vegetables, the residual part is going to kind of look like a mushroom, which is really cute, but I normally just cut it up and use it. So I'm still cutting up the bell peppers as well. Yesterday we just kind of talked about the 7 things that I wish I knew. Today on Facebook Live, I am going to talk about something that most people don't want to talk about. And my question I asked everyone today on Facebook was, are you eating your food or is your food eating you? So tonight we're going to talk about basically all the things that are behind the scenes. What kind of lotion should you use? What kind of toothpaste should you use? All the things as far as like the personal items. Just like one of the questions I want to ask people, and I want you guys to, you know, kind of really think about this. When people say, oh, I don't need to eat like that, you know, I'm fine. You know, if you were driving your car and a light came on, would you ignore that light? Or would you take it for service? Well, our body sends off signals as well, and most of us ignore those signals. One of the biggest signals that most people ignore or misinterpret is a headache. I grew up in a house where I don't care what was wrong with you. My aunt, if you had a headache, if you had an acne bump, if you had a stomach ache, the first question they would ask would be, when was the last time you had a BM? So we're not going to talk about that now while we're cooking, but those are the things we're going to discuss tonight. We're going to get a different room in my house, the room that no one wants to go in. We're going to talk tonight in my restroom. We're going to sit in my bathroom and we're going to have an open heart, open conversation about, are we eating our food or is it eating us? So back to the salad. So here we go. We have red bell peppers. We're going to have this beautiful cabbage that we have already cut up. And we have the turmeric. I'm going to take a few handfuls of this cabbage. Put this down. And I'm going to put this cabbage in here. So we have the cabbage. I'm going to take some of the red onion. And what's really funny is that when you eat a plant-based lifestyle, you would think that eating all this stuff would make you smell funny. But because these are just regular natural fruits and vegetables, even when I eat red onions, I normally tell people if you're going to eat red onions, to make sure that afterwards you eat a lemon, because that kind of gets rid of the oniony smell that might be on your breath. But I've kind of noticed that because this is all we eat, like even when Gil eats it, I ask him, you know, when he kisses me, do I taste like onions? Do I taste like garlic? And normally I don't. So I think a lot of the reasons why we get a lot of smell from eating certain things is because of the things that are coming out of our pores from the other things that we eat. And most of the time, the fruits and the vegetables get blamed rather than the processed foods that we eat. So just keep that in mind. Don't be afraid to eat some red onions or some garlic or all those things like. Now, garlic is a little bit, you have to be careful with garlic because garlic is really strong. Like I said, I don't normally chew garlic. I normally just swallow it. So I showed you guys on one of the other videos, I showed you this mayo. This is my all-time favorite plant-based mayo. It is delicious. And so we're going to use that in this salad. So we're going to take some, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. Then I'm going to add some of this, because this is the walnut oil and it has the garlic in it. Because we're eating such a, when you're eating starches and things like that, those are more nutrient dense. This is not when you're eating all plants and all raw, it's not very nutrient dense. So to keep your metabolism and your brain working properly, you want to make sure you add a little bit of the extra fats. I'm not really big on eating nuts right now, so I'm going to use the walnut oil with the garlic. I showed you guys that the other day. Put that in there. And no, I'm not measuring. And if you smell it, oh my goodness, it smells so delicious. The garlic is very, very, very strong. You can smell it. And then I'm going to use this ground. I showed you guys before I used the Montreal steak seasoning, but this is ground up. So there you go. You can put some of that in there. And I'm going to show you 2 things that I discovered on Amazon that I really had a hard time finding. One of the things that I had on our list of things that should be a part of your daily regimen, your daily journey, should be cranberry. It's hard to find cranberries right now because that's more of a winter fruit. Well, I mean, winter. I guess it's a winter. I guess it's a fruit. I guess, but it's hard to find it now. So I looked on Amazon and I was able to find this Bigelow, which is they're my favorite tea. And I talked yesterday about the metal staple. This one does not have that, so that's great. And this is a cranberry hibiscus. We talked about hibiscus and how good it is for your blood pressure. It's good for your kidneys. It's good for your bladder. It's good for your skin. Hibiscus as well as cranberry. So this is like a great detox. So while you're doing this, I would really recommend that you either find this in your local grocery store or order it on Amazon. No, I don't work for Amazon. I don't get anything from them, but this is where I was able to find it. So it's cranberry hibiscus. And this one is a little bit more tart than the raspberry. So what I did was I steeped a bunch of it and I mixed the hibiscus and cranberry with the hibiscus and raspberry, and it tastes really good. I'm going to show you one of the sweeteners that I use just in case you guys want to know about a good natural sweetener. I'll show you that as well. And so here's our salad. So I'm mixing up. This I would think that this would be more like coleslaw. This is kind of like a coleslaw dish. So you have the purple cabbage, you have the red bell peppers, you have the fresh turmeric, and this is an antioxidant filled, delicious, healthy version of eating basically coleslaw. What I would say is that when you're through this journey, because even with Gil and I, when we first started, there were some things that we tried in the beginning that we loved, and it was like it's a part of our it's a part, like I talked about, the Americans Eat 8 meals. I don't care, vegetarian, vegan, no matter what type of lifestyle you practice, no one eats 20 different dinners. The average person only eats 8. So in those trial and error things, we found things that we love. So through this journey of doing raw, I'm gonna find some new things that I really love, and I'll always eat it. And then I'm gonna have some things that I'm not all that crazy about. For me, I think this is gonna be something I'm going to love, and because I love coleslaw. And so I think this is gonna be a great way. And I've already made something with coleslaw with the beets before, and it was delicious. So I'm gonna taste it. So I've already seasoned it. I showed you all the ingredients, and I'll put the ingredients up on our website, www.b3regimen.com, so we can have this. But I'm gonna just taste it. And now I'm tasting the beet. Pickled beets and fresh beets, there's like no comparison. You have to try the fresh beets. And you saw how easy it was. I basically that's really good. So there's our salad. And so tonight for dinner, you can have this salad with, I personally don't like cold soups. You can make like a cold soup. It's more important that you eat whole foods. If you decide, okay, I'm going to do, because one of the things I talk about, raw until 4, once it's dark, go back to what you ate. Once it's dark, don't eat anymore. Raw until 4, once it's dark, you don't eat anymore unless you go back to what you ate before 4. That's one of the things that I practice. So if you guys want to eat something cooked at night, as long as it's a vegetable, try to make sure it's not a potato. Unless it's a red or a purple potato. Unless it's a red or a purple potato. So basically that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that you're eating the most nutrient dense vegetables and fruits. So I said I was going to show you something. This is B12. This is one of the things that I recommend that every person who's eating a plant-based lifestyle take at least once a week. This is what I would recommend. I'm going to also show you a sweetener that I use. Hi everyone, it's Renee. I'm getting orders together to send out to people all over the country for their Regiment 3-Day Detox. Okay. Please get involved and order your Regiment 3-Day Detox today at www.b3regiment.com. So this is Remember, in order to get permanent results, you have to make permanent changes. Red bell peppers, bye. Red, purple onions, beets, and cabbage. So I'm going to show you guys, multitasking, that same cabbage that I used to make the raw dish, I'm going to now make a cooked dish for the rest of my family. I always use walnut oil for not heated dishes, but for heated dishes I either use grapeseed oil or I use coconut oil. And I always take my grapeseed oil and I put it with, I put all my oils except for coconut oil. I guess you could do a coconut oil to add some garlic to it, just add extra flavor. I was showing this. This is one of the sweeteners that we use if you wanted to have a non-toxic artificial sweetener. This is information came to me from Dr. Michael Greger. So I know he's a physician and he is a plant-based eater. So this is a great oil, a sweetener that he recommends. But I don't use sweeteners normally. I basically eat my food the way that it comes. That would be more for that tea, for the cranberry tea. And this is good for people who are diabetic. If you're not diabetic, just use raw honey. So if you can see, I basically have already put in my bell peppers, onions, and my purple cabbage. Whenever I make cabbage, I don't ever use any water because cabbage already has enough water. I do add my Now for this, I will use the cornstarch version of the Montreal steak seasoning. If you notice, I use this in everything. It tastes absolutely delicious. And one of the things that I like to add to cabbage is I like to add some sesame seeds because it's really good. I also add some oregano. And I used to add bay leaves, but Jill doesn't like that flavor. But this is just showing you how to take one cabbage and make 2 different meals out of it. So you can saute this. I have it on high. Then I cut the fire off. One of the things you're going to notice about eating whole foods is that your cooking time is going to be cut in half. Because you're not going to cook it until it's dead. You're going to basically just cook it just enough to break down the cell wall and make it easier for you to chew it. But this is basically done. I wouldn't cook this any more than this. And if you notice, it's very, very shiny, and that is from the grapeseed oil. But this is basically it. I cook the onions and the bell peppers a little bit longer, but I want the cabbage to still maintain its nutritional value. Whenever you cook a vegetable until the color totally changed to a totally different color, you probably killed it. So I even show that when I make greens. I still make greens, but I don't overcook them. So this is a great way to get cabbage into your diet without it being overly cooked. And so that's basically it. So join us tonight at 7 o'clock where we'll talk about, are you eating your food or is your food eating you? Remember, join us on this journey towards living a life with fewer regrets. And in order to get permanent results, we have to make permanent changes. Like, subscribe, and share. Good night. Peace out. Bye-bye.